Hello, friend. My name is Rohit Madan, and there is an initiative in the COP27 Conference of the Parties at 27th meeting by the UNFCCC leader, and there is an initiative by the G7 leader at COP27. The initiative name is Global SILD. Okay, the Global SILD. The Germany and G7 launched Global SILD to for the climate finance at the COP27, and to finance this facility, to finance this schemes, World Bank Group also launches the Global SILD finance facility to help the developing countries adapt to the climate change. So this is very burning topic nowadays and continuously in news. So this is going to be very important topic for our upcoming civil services examination, either for the UPSC or either for the state civil services. Now let's discuss also this news in Al Jazeera continuously, like climate disasters aid scheme global shield launch at the COP27. So today we will deep dive this topic, okay, thoroughly, so that you cannot miss any questions from this topic. Now, global shield financing facility. So we will discuss this topic. So what is this global shield finance facility? So this is an initiative of the World Bank Group. So this is what is the objective of this group? The objective of this group is to finance the global shield against the climate risk, so that this can help the developing countries so that they can access more financing recovery from the natural disaster and climate risk. So the facility will support the global shield against the climate risk. So the main objective of this is finance to finance the developing, or rather I will say vulnerable vulnerable countries to to the climate change. Okay, so this is the global shield financing facility. Now we will discuss the global shield against climate risk. What is this global shield against climate risk? So this is an initiative of a joint initiative of the G7 countries and vulnerable 20 countries to better protect the poor and the vulnerable people from the disaster by pre-arranging the more financing before the disaster strikes. So what is this scheme? Like, if climate disasters are coming, but what they are doing before the climate disaster or the climate extreme event attack the countries and the peoples, so they will shield this. Okay, like the flood. Okay, so flood related activities, drought related activities, so these are the resilient. So basically these are the adaptive features, so that the countries and the peoples which are more vulnerable, they can adapt themselves to this. Okay, to this the climate disaster. The most important thing in the resilience or in the adaptability is the fund, because without fund you can't do nothing. So this is how this initiative was launched. Okay, so the maksad of this launch is to protect the vulnerable and the poor peoples and the countries from the climate disaster. Now, what is this vulnerable 20 group? If you look at the vulnerable 20 group, this is a group of the countries which are more vulnerable to climate disasters. So these are vulnerable to climate disasters. So this is in a dedicated cooperation initiative of the economies systematically vulnerable to the climate change. So this V20 जो works है through the dialogue and the action, so that they can tackle effectively and efficiently to the global climate change. Okay, so this is how this V20 group works, and this is the objective of this V20 group, so that they can protect themselves from this climate change, this extreme event of the climate, like this a heat wave, for example, the floods, like drought. Okay, now we will look at the what is the climate vulnerable forum, because this is an international partnership of the countries. highly vulnerable to the warmest planet. The forum serves as a South-South cooperation platform for participating the government so that they can act together to deal with the global climate change. So this is the climate vulnerable forum. Now, the membership to the climate vulnerable forum. There are total 58 members from the across the continent like Africa, Asia, Caribbean, and Latin America. So these countries are basically most vulnerable countries in the world. These are the most vulnerable countries across the world. Like from the Africa, the most vulnerable countries from the Africa, like the Sudan. Okay, these are the countries from Asia, like Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh. Okay, but India is not the member to this group. Okay, India, Pakistan, these are not the member to this group. Okay, so these are the most vulnerable countries. So these are the membership. You can see here the India is not the membership of these countries, like in the Argentina, Chile, okay, Brazil. These are not the member. Like in the North America, there is no one countries from the America, no countries from the Europe. You will see Russia is not the member, China is not the member. Okay, now look at the questions. So we will take here some questions so that we can better understand this topic. So first question is which of the following country is not the member of the climate vulnerable forum? So as we have discussed the climate vulnerable forum, there are total 58 countries, and I told you that these are the most vulnerable countries across the world. So the options are here: India, Nepal, Afghanistan, and Bhutan. So as we have discussed in Asia, Nepal, Afghanistan, Bhutan are the members, but India is not the member because India is not most vulnerable across the world. Now, second question, which is correct about the Global Shield Climate Finance Facility? As we know that this facility was launched by the World Bank Group. But the first statement, what first statement it says? The first statement is says that the World Economic Forum launched this initiative or launched this facility is wrong. The second statement, the facility will support the Global Shield Against Climate, a joint initiative by the G7 and the V20 group. बिल्कुल सही है. That is absolutely right. The answer is only 2 is correct. The third question is which is correct about the Global Shield Against the Climate Risk? What is this answer? So it is an initiative of the G20, or it is to provide the funding to the countries suffering climate disaster. So whether it is the initiative of the G20 or some other nations like G7 and V20, as we have discussed in our slide, so this is in a joint initiative of the G7 and V20. So first statement is wrong, but second statement is right. So the answer is only 2. So here we have discussed this Global Shield Against the Climate Risk, and I hope you like this video, and please share and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you guys.